So I have the one side done. You can see kind of what it's going to look like there. And it's cut down to the sides there. We're looking for square corners there, and we're looking at the sockets are all deep enough and square enough that it's going to fit in there nicely when we put the board in. So I'm going to show you this next one that I'm doing here. See if I can put you over my top of my shoulder here. Now, let's get you angled here a little bit better. So I'm going to be working right on top of that. And again, this is what we're taking out here on this side here. So it is a lengthy process. It's probably going to take 10 minutes for me to get these out here. This thing here is called a hold fast. So I'm going to lay that just like so. Get to the edge so I can have my chisel coming in this way. Bring that down. Go a little bit further out. And I smack it down there. And I'm also going to put this on so it doesn't shift around to me at all. Now I did probably 100 dovetails before I learned this thing that I'm going to show you right now. So I set this thing up so that this here was a 3/4 one, this was 1/4 one, this is a 3/4 one, so my chisel all fits inside all of those there. But the first thing I want to do is I want to create a shoulder that my chisel, when I'm coming down this, is not going to work itself backwards due to the mass that's in there, because the angle of this is a bevel. So it's going to want to push it back that way, and if it does, then that pushes my side in further and it just makes the whole thing look junkier. So the first thing I want to show you is I'm going to take my, by the way also, now you'll see why that combination square is so important. When I drag my chisel back, it just stops right there in my line. So I bring it up, drag it back, and it stops right in that marking gauge line, that little slit that was on there, that little cut. And that's exactly why I wanted it. So I'm going to hold it up and down that line there, give it a tap. And then I'm going to go ahead and I want to back cut that just a hair. So I'm going to take out a little bit. And what that does is creates a deeper shoulder there. So I'll do another one here. And it gives it a spot so that my chisel's not going to drift on me. There's not much to it. It's not a lengthy process, but when I switched to doing that, I'm going to go a little deeper this one because my chisel angled on me here. And the last one is a 1/4 inch. It made a tremendous difference in the appearance of the dovetails once I started doing that. Okay, so now I can go ahead and attack this thing. So with my 1/4 inch chisel, come down. Now let's go ahead and I'll tap that piece out. It's like taking out teeth, you know what I mean? Or I don't know if that's really how you take out teeth. By the way, Elliot's tooth did come out, and the tooth fairy was able to find $5 for him, which is a lot more than I made with these teeth. So, you know, we try not to get change anywhere because with this coronavirus, you want to pay with credit card but you don't want to get money back because money's dirty. So we didn't have a lot. Everything was 20s that we had. We got out of the Mac machine and whatever. All right, so I cut that one back. Tell you what, I'm just going to do one of these here so you can see how I do it, so you don't have to watch all three of these. And I'll do the middle ones. That's when I started. I want my chisel to be square, and very honestly, if anything, I want my chisel to be leaned like this, okay? Because the reality is that the strength in this joint here is the glue that's going to be going on these surfaces here, the edge grain, okay? Because it's going to be edge grain to edge grain. Remember, my board goes into it, so end grain hits here, and this is end grain here. So those really are not the important factors there. It's the two sides there we have edge grain. So that's where I'm going to really focus on. So if I have a little bit of a back cut there, it actually works to my benefit because it's going to fit nice and tight up against, and I wasn't relying on that for my glue joint anyhow. Oak is a little bit grainy. And you gotta watch when you're pulling this out here because you don't want to take off the edges of our pins, like right there. Okay? So as I go down with this, I'm gonna try to break it off so I don't break it all up in one. I'm gonna try to take it in two. So that means I'm gonna come over to the side here more, come into it. I'm gonna just kind of twist it up like that so it comes out without taking all those edges off. I don't know if you saw that. I'll do that again. So I got this side here. I twist this way, which is why I left so much beef on those edges there, because when I twist, I don't want to break anything out. So the most fragile part of this right now is this bottom 1/8 edge that I'm leaving on for the front of the drawer. Turning it so it doesn't come out in one piece and booger things up. And you can go down and push out the front end too. It's all working with the direction of the grain. I mean, you use the grain to your advantage. You know, they have things that are like, I think they're called dovetail chisels, where like the end of the chisel flares out. I don't know one of those, and it really is just a couple minutes at the end here just to clean it out to make sure it's looking how you want it. Remember, the other piece has to fit to this. So as long as you get them cleaned out, you get them squared and everything, it should work out that piece is going to fit in there well enough. By the way, today's Saturday, and it's so muggy outside that I actually have my air conditioner turned on for the first time. So I unplugged my heater that I just used probably 2 weeks ago, and now I have my air conditioner turned on. I was starting to get a little bit clammy. And remember how I said I dragged my chisel to that spot? I'll also be able to do it for where the bottom of this is. Okay, so now at the bottom here, that bottom edge is actually about a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut down to that, and I'll use my 1/2 inch chisel to get that out. So I'm just going to light tap, come over the other side here, light tap, and my other angle also for light tap. And to show you again, remember we had our cutter, our blade was way like this because we were trying to cut as much of the side of this tail off as possible that we wouldn't have to chisel it out. We're going to have to do something. So now I'll take the 1/2 inch chisel and I'll put it on that mark again where my marking gauge was. I'll put it in and then I'll go ahead and flick it up. So now I'm just going down my sides and making sure that I have it smoothed out. My bottom is flat. Okay? And then I'm also going to do this. I'm just going to make sure I square it up. I'm going to run it down the edge. Okay? If I had done my tails first, or my tails first, I wouldn't have had so much comfort in doing this. But I can make this thing any shape I want as long as I make the next one to the shape. It's a lot easier to make tails to the shape than to make pins to the shape, unless you're going through cut. Okay? So that's cut out there now, along the line there, so I'm going to go ahead and do these next. All right? I won't force you guys to watch that. We'll talk about the tails next, all right?